I'm really glad my nieces and nephew took my side because, to be honest, it's been hard going through this without my parents' support. They decided to stay out of it, and even though I understand that stance, it's a bit disappointing. My parents haven't spoken to Diana in years, even after she cut herself off from her kids, and I can't help but feel that a little more support from them would have helped. But regardless, I've always prioritized the well-being of my nieces and nephew, and I'm so grateful they see me as a stable presence in their lives. A lot of people asked why I didn't file for custody if Diana was so difficult to be around. I'll be honest, it wasn't that easy. Yes, she was mean and emotionally distant, but her behavior didn't qualify as abuse or neglect in a way that would hold up in court. She wasn't physically hurting them or withholding basic needs. She was simply unkind and unavailable, which, unfortunately, doesn't make a strong legal case. Courts tend to keep families together, especially when only one biological parent remains. If I had tried anything legal, Diana would have made sure to cut me out of their lives, and I would have lost any connection with them. So, as frustrating as it was, my best option was to maintain contact and be there for them in the ways that I could. I was constantly debating whether I was doing the right thing by not pursuing custody, but at the time, it seemed like the safest option. It was tough to balance wanting to do more while also feeling trapped by the limitations of the situation. But ultimately, I think being a consistent presence for them made a difference. There might have been other ways to handle it, but with the choices I had, I believe I did the right thing. Now, fast forward to last week, and things got a lot more intense. After Diana's message to me, I started getting phone calls from family members defending her, saying I was wrong and criticizing me. I was busy with work and hadn't had the time to make a post or share my side of the story, but as the calls kept coming, I felt like enough was enough. After speaking with my nieces and nephew, we agreed it was time to set the record straight, and they wanted to share their story as well. I posted everything: how she treated her kids, the taunts they endured daily, and how she never truly owned up to her choices. Despite her attempts to act like a supportive mother, her actions spoke louder. She neglected them emotionally and blamed others for the outcomes of her own choices, including her decision to get pregnant young and leave everything for a boyfriend who later walked out. The public sympathy for her story didn't sit right with me, so I decided to put the truth out there. The post went live, and soon I started getting messages from family members who had initially judged me, now apologizing. It didn't matter much to me. The real victory was finally having our side of the story known. A day after the post, Diana finally decided to retaliate. She commented, trying to discredit me and twist the story, claiming I had stolen her kids and that I was only in it for money now that they were doing well financially. She tried to paint herself as the victim, but her kids weren't having it. They jumped into the comments immediately, recounting specific incidents from their childhood that highlighted her cruelty, and there was no way for her to deny it. This went on for about an hour, her trying to lie and her own children calling her out each time. It might sound odd, but we were all actually enjoying this moment, seeing her lies crumble. Eventually, she started deleting her comments, probably realizing that people were catching on. But the damage was done. By then, several people had seen the whole exchange. Once it was clear she wasn't going to win this battle, she blocked us, me and her own kids. Honestly, this felt like her way of throwing in the towel, and I was relieved. I thought that would be the end of it. But then she messaged me, accusing me of making her look like the villain and saying everyone hated her now. It's a bit ironic, really. She started this whole thing, attacking me and lying to our family. But now that the truth is out, she can't handle the fallout. I ignored her message because, at this point, I have nothing left to say to her. If she hadn't gone out of her way to create drama, she wouldn't be in this position. I don't understand why people go out of their way to stir trouble if they aren't prepared to face the consequences. Now, I'm done. I'm ready to close this chapter, return to the peace we had before Diana reappeared, and focus on the future. For years, I kept myself as a support for my nieces and nephew, even when it was hard, and that's what matters. We're moving on from her drama for good. She's out of our lives, and I honestly couldn't be happier.